What's up, Taiwan? I'm Sandy Chi with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. The U.S. is backing Japan's new prime minister as tensions between Tokyo and Beijing grow. It's the latest developments in the two countries' worsening relations over statements about Taiwan. Tiffany Wong reports.
Japan has lodged a complaint against China. This follows comments made by new Prime Minister Takaichi Sanae, which have sparked military and economic pressure from Beijing.
Regarding the extremely inappropriate remarks made recently by China's Consul General in Osaka, Shuijian, Kensai Masaki, the Director General of the Japanese Foreign Ministry's Asian Affairs Office, once again lodged a strong protest and firmly called for China to take immediate, appropriate action. We have also lodged representations regarding the Chinese government's series of announcements about travel advisories for Japan.
Tensions between the two countries escalated earlier this month when Takaichi said a Chinese invasion of Taiwan could be grounds for a Japanese military response. That prompted China's representative in Osaka to post a since-deleted threat on social media. Japan sent an envoy to Beijing to try and soothe tensions, but the comments have already drawn the attention of U.S. officials, with U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chair Jim Risch calling the statement over the top and highly inappropriate. And the former Assistant Secretary of Defense for Indo-Pacific Security Affairs also chiming in.
The statement by the Chinese Consul General in Osaka is absolutely outrageous, particularly in light of the political assassination of Shinzo Abe very recently. To actually threaten the life of the Prime Minister is outrageous. Japan's government is perfectly capable of making decisions on how to address that without advice from any of us, but it seems to me it should be disqualifying for future office in Japan, for sure.
Now, China is holding live-fire drills in the Yellow Sea. It's also issued a warning to Chinese citizens against travel to Japan. The U.S. House Select Committee on China also weighed in, saying that the U.S. stands with Japan against China's attempted coercion and intimidation. But China's tactics are already making an impact in Japan. Chinese visitors are the biggest group of foreign tourists there, and many have been canceling their trips, causing Japanese tourism and retail stocks to drop.
在这期间受到的影响其实非常大。昨天我们取消了大概是6件左右，占10%，然后今天是取消了大概是10件左右，综合应该是20件左右，所以占据了我们80%的市场。
Several Chinese airlines offered refunds on routes to Japan before the end of the year, and Chinese tourists already in Japan said they're worried about the relationship between the two countries.
Japan's economy really depends on tourists. I hope we can all respect each other so that things can improve for Japan, for us Chinese people, for Hong Kong, and for everyone.
My parents actually shared the news with me just literally in the morning before I came. So I felt like it's another political maybe conversation between these two countries, because we've planned everything, so we still decided to come.
Japan has also issued its own warning for its citizens in China, urging them not to get together in places seen as gathering sites for Japanese. As the back and forth between the two countries continue, Japan's close partners, the U.S. and Taiwan, will be watching closely. Chris Ma and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
The UK's MI5 security service has issued an espionage alert, warning lawmakers about Chinese spy activity. The British Security Minister has addressed Parliament on the situation.
Our intelligence agencies have warned that China is attempting to recruit and cultivate individuals with access to sensitive information about Parliament and the UK government.
MI5 warns that Chinese intelligence officers are posing as recruitment agents targeting UK government workers and members of Parliament. Jarvis says they're working to counter the threats, including upgrading encryption technology. The warning comes after prosecutors dropped a case against 2 British men charged with spying for China, citing insufficient evidence to show China's threat to British national security. The government has indicted 7 individuals, including 1 Hong Kong resident, for their roles in an alleged Chinese spy ring.
中国确实对于我们的这个渗透作为是日趋严重了哈。那对于这些有关这些有接触机密的人，我们也都要加以进行查核。事实上，这个案子也是在我们内部进行这一个查核的时候，所发现的所以我们还是会不断的精进。
This case broke when the military looked into an officer, surnamed Yang, for suspicious activity. That led to the discovery of an illegal spying and the prosecution of 2 active military personnel. Prosecutors say the ring received more than $350,000 to support the operation. It comes amid a surge of espionage cases in Taiwan, with 168 prosecuted on espionage charges last year. That was double the previous year and 6 times the year before that. Taiwan's government is investigating after local media reported that its former top TSMC executive allegedly took sensitive files with him when he resigned to join U.S. chipmaker Intel.
高检署已经启动了，是不是违反国安法的一些调查？那我想我们经济部也会全力来配合。好，那这属于国安层次。那至于第二个层次整体产业的影响，我们也会看看这个持续的关注，它有没有会造成利害上升。
Authorities are investigating whether former TSMC senior vice president Luo Weizhen illegally took confidential documents related to advanced technologies, including the company's 2-nanometer process and proprietary Apple chips like the A16. TSMC has not publicly commented. TaiwanPlus reached out to Intel, which also said it does not comment on market rumors. The annual G20 summit is kicking off on Saturday in South Africa, the first time an African country will host the meeting. But several top leaders won't be there. Irene Lin has the story.
Dazzling dance performances mark the opening of this year's G20 summit in Johannesburg, South Africa, where world leaders are set to gather over the weekend. But some key figures have chosen not to attend for the first time in the event's history. Earlier this month, China's Xi Jinping and Russia's Vladimir Putin both declared they would send representatives instead. Meanwhile, the U.S. will skip the summit completely, citing allegations of the South African government mistreating its white minority. Johannesburg says the summit will still get things done, even with these absences.
You can call it whatever. Someone can call it a boycott, someone will call it non-attendance, but the reality is that they are not attending, they are not here. Our intentions are clear, is that we must achieve a leaders' declaration in South Africa because the US is absent from the G20 as a member. Therefore, there is nothing that precludes the members that are present to agree on a declaration.
It's the first time the diplomatic summit will be hosted in Africa. In the second year, the African Union will attend as a permanent G20 member. With a growing presence at the summit and the absence of the 3 major powers, South Africa plans to seize the opportunity to set an Africa-centered agenda. Climate disaster preparation, clean energy transition, and affordable debt solutions for low-income countries to pursue these projects, while continuing to supply critical minerals to the world.
How do we ensure that the people on the continent are benefiting from these minerals, and how are they serving the current energy crises that we have respectively within the continent? As you know, I think the statistics around 600 million Africans live without electricity. So how do we ensure that this transition is also able to speak to the development challenges?
Still, some worry that without Washington's attendance, the world's largest economy and historically a major financial backer of UN climate projects, it could be hard for other members to get the funding to meet those goals. But as U.S. President Donald Trump has rejected South Africa's agenda, the empty chair could actually give more room for other members to speak up.
Look, Trump not coming to South Africa may be the best thing that could happen to the G20. Imagine him or even J.D. Vance getting up on the stage here and do what Vance has done in Europe when he arrived there and insulted each and every foreign leader sitting in that room. They would have dominated to the extent that I think the other more sane voices could have been drowned out.
With so many top leaders missing out this time, Johannesburg will be looking to make the most of its historic hosting opportunity and achieve progress on some pressing issues for the continent. Dolphin Chen and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan, competing under the name Chinese Taipei, has secured its first medal at the Tokyo 2025 Deaflympics on Tuesday. Athlete Wei Yuzhe won silver in the men's decathlon, finishing with almost 6,000 points. This marks the country's first medal in the sport since 2009. Wei previously won gold in the men's long jump and silver in the men's 100 meters at the World Deaf Youth Games in Brazil last year. His coach Chen Yingqi says he was happy with the result.
第一次参加听障的奥运，然后他也刚好满18岁，可以比10项全能。其实，在高中阶段他也没有接触过社会的规格，所以他这次的表现，我觉得我很满意。
The Tokyo 2025 Deaflympics will run through the end of November. 13 people have been killed by bears in Japan since April. As several governments issue travel warnings, local authorities are taking matters into their own hands. Zalan Shatta looks at an unusual tech-driven approach.
A drone takes off over an orchard in Gifu Prefecture in central Japan. Using firecrackers and a loudspeaker, it barks like a dog, scaring off bears seen lurking in the woods.
Indeed, you don't really want to get hurt. I've had a few close calls myself, and then they glare at you, and yes, it's really scary when they actually look at you.
This high-tech solution has been deployed in Hida, a city that has seen 8 times as many bear sightings this fall, posing an ongoing threat to locals and tourists.
我们在做攻略的时候，就在小红书上看到有很多日本报道说有熊出没，好像因为今年的收成不太好，所以熊要下来找东西吃。然后呢，所以我们就准备了2个熊铃。
Across Japan, 220 people have been injured in bear attacks since April, a record spike in numbers. So far, 13 have been killed, with 7 deaths in October alone. The uptick has prompted the US, China, and the UK to issue travel advisories. And after a recent bear attack on a Spanish tourist, local governments are moving to respond.
When considering how to implement countermeasures, we examined whether to drive the bears away by hand or use dogs. Ultimately, we decided on a method that could be enacted immediately, and after careful consideration, we chose to use drones for bear deterrence.
As for bears, this is the first time we've used drones for bear deterrence. Recently, bear problems have become an issue in Japan, and this time we used the dog barking speakers to drive them away.
And the barking drone is just the first step. Officials are installing more warning signs and vowing to prevent more of these dangerous encounters.
You know, we are living in the mountain, and we are very, very familiar with the bears all the time. And then why can't I, avoid that in the first place? And then that was, pretty shameful for us. We are not gonna let that things happen again. Yeah, never.
With the bear population continuing to grow, the question remains, can Japan's high-tech efforts keep people safe and bears away? Scott Huang and Zalan Shatta for TaiwanPlus.
1 person is missing and nearly 200 evacuated after a massive fire tore through a city in southern Japan. Starting around dinner time on Tuesday, the blaze spread quickly through an outlying area of Oita city, destroying 170 buildings. As of Wednesday morning, it has not yet been put out and had reportedly spread to nearby forested hills. 1 person remains missing as authorities investigate the cause. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Before we go, hear the sound of 2 long-lost organ pieces by Bach, performed in Germany. I'm Sanichi. Take care and see you next time.